The charge has refused to die down in the latest development. TMC MP Abhishek Banerjee has accused the Bharatiya Janata Party of buying votes for 15 crore rupees each during the vice presidential election. Meanwhile, the BJP has upped its ante against Congress, saying Rahul Gandhi's presentation at the Vote Chori press conference was not made in India but created in Myanmar, further alleging a foreign hand behind Rahul Gandhi's charges. The BJP has claimed that metadata has revealed the Vote Chori presentation was not made by Congress in India but in Myanmar first. So the Congress has reacted to BJP's charge, saying BJP's IT cell's Myanmar metadata is a lie. Listen in to the charges from the opposition camp.
डायनामिक एक्सप्लोसिव आपको सबूत देने वाले हैं। पूरे देश में नारा चल रहा है, वोट चोर गद्दी चोर का नारा चल रहा है, आग जैसे फैल रहा है, क्योंकि सच्चाई है और हम आपको दिखाएंगे। हिंदुस्तान के युवा, आप अच्छी तरह सुनिए, सच्चाई है कि वोट चोरी करके सरकारें बन रही हैं। हम गारंटी करके आपको प्रूफ देने वाले हैं।
সরাসরি মানে নামে আম আদমি পার্টি বিজেপিতে নাম লিখিয়েই দিয়েছে, এরকম দু চারটে এমপি তো রয়েছে। আর ওরা অনেক টাকার বস্তা নিয়ে নেমেছিল ভোট কিনতে। আমি কালকে গিয়ে 4-5 জনের সাথে যেটুকু কথা বলে বুঝতে পেরেছি, এক একজনের ভোট কিনতে প্রায় 15-20 কোটি টাকা খরচা করেছে। এখন বিক্রি হয় পণ্য বা দ্রব্য। তাই যারা ভোটে নির্বাচিত হয়ে জনপ্রতিনিধি হয়ে মানুষের কথা বলার জন্য পার্লামেন্টে গিয়ে মানুষের আবেগকে বিক্রি করতে চাইছে, তারা হয়তো বিক্রি হতে পারে, কিন্তু মানুষের আবেগ তো বিক্রি হয় না। জনপ্রতিনিধি বিক্রি হতে পারে, জনতা বিক্রি হয় না।
All right, before I introduce the other guests joining in, Amitabh Tewari, who's a political analyst, has joined me on the broadcast. Thank you, Amitabh, for joining in on the hard facts. First of all, how do you put this into political perspective when you look at a time when the SIR exercise is being conducted? Rahul Gandhi comes up with his own set of claims that I have yet again hydrogen bomb of a proof to in fact back the evidence of vote chori, and now you have the metadata claims coming out from the BJP, which are saying that, you know, this is a clear-cut indication that there is always a foreign hand involved with the Congress party.
No, essentially the opposition has been harping on this issue of vote chori for a long time now. And now I think it's time to submit the proof which the opposition has either to the ECI or to the courts. Because Rahul Gandhi has talked about an atom bomb. Neither has he given an affidavit, nor has ECI started investigations on the same. So we are locked in a battle of sorts where there is no movement on this topic. Now moving from an atom bomb to an hydrogen bomb, see what has happened is that Rahul Gandhi has been moving from one state to another. So from Haryana, Maharashtra to Karnataka, then back to Lok Sabha and forth. Whereas the election is happening in Bihar. If the team had found out or released data pertaining to Bihar, it would have been more helpful, I think, because you moved to a state where elections have already happened. You took 6 months in analyzing one Lok Sabha seat for Karnataka, one assembly seat for Bihar you could have done in 1 month perhaps. Then you could have come up with 6 assembly seats of Bihar. So this moving goalposts from one state election to another without conclusive proof, I don't think is helping matters. Of course, the allegations are serious. It needs to be investigated, and the trust deficit which we are seeing between the opposition and the government, there is also a significant trust deficit which has developed between the ECI and the opposition.
Okay. On that note of the trust deficit that you're talking about, let me also introduce my remaining panelists. I'm joined in by Suraj Mandal, who's a spokesperson of the Congress party. Also joined in by Sanju Verma, who's a national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Sanju, I'm going to come to you because I know that Suraj will have a point right now to make. Suraj, you heard what is currently being said. As far as Amitabh ji is concerned, he's made a very crucial point that, you know, the allegations are very serious. But where is the evidence? First, it was an atom bomb of the evidence that you are talking about. Now there is a hydrogen bomb. No affidavit has been offered so far. I'll get into the metadata aspect of this, perhaps Sanju will, but Suraj.
I'm surprised what Mr. Tewari has to say. He is saying that first we should have an analysis of Bihar. Repeatedly, it has been told. He was showing his surprise why it took 6 months. That's what our point is. Every time the Election Commission of India was asked for a digital copy of the voter list, which it is supposed to provide, it did not. I'll tell you very recently what happened. In Karnataka, there was an inquiry. And in this inquiry, it was found out that Form 7 was used to delete more than 5,000 votes in one constituency of Karnataka. When the CID over there asked the Election Commission of India for a copy of the IP address, they refused to divulge. Now, very recently, when the Supreme Court has forced the Election Commission of India to recognize Aadhaar as one of the points, the whole conspiracy is very clear to the people of India, and especially to the people of Bihar, because I have been part of the.
First of all, let me now fact check you, Suraj. It's not an order. It's not an order.
I'm surprised then. Every thrice the Supreme
Court you've made your point. You've set up the premise of the argument.
Two more points, ma'am, if you permit me.
Quickly, sir.
The first thing is that the Election Commission of India is every time putting its foot in its mouth when it says, recently, they said that this Election Commissioner of India said that माँ और बेटियों का कैसे हम अपना ये करेंगे. And in the Rajya Sabha polls in the Vice President of India, they shared the video clippings of the honorable MPs and who were women MPs. So ये साहब बोल रहे हैं, he's saying that माँ बेटियों का कैसे हम इससे ये करें.
Suraj Mandal, okay, I've given you enough time now to speak. Let me also quickly fact check you before I go to Sanju. This is a 2019 Supreme Court judgment, as the CEC Ganesh Kumar on Sunday said that the voter list in machine readable format cannot be shared with political parties. So just giving you a reminder to that. Sanju Verma, all right. Now Suraj Mandal, I'm going to request you to please let the other spokesperson also speak and not speak over them. I'll give you time to come up with a rebuttal. Sanju Verma.
Thank you. Let me make one thing very clear. Actually, Amitabh made an interesting remark that there's a trust deficit between the opposition and the Election Commission of India. But I can assure your audience and Amitabh, that trust deficit is the doing of the opposition. It is not the doing of a constitutional body like the Election Commission. It is the duty of the Election Commission under Article 324, 325 and 326 to conduct the SIR. This has been upheld by Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia of the Supreme Court. It is the domain of the Election Commission to conduct periodic revision of voter rolls. This was also said by Justice Suryakant and Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia of the Supreme Court. So the limited point here is, when the Election Commission undertakes the SIR, what did Pawan Khera, Jairam Ramesh, Rahul Gandhi say? SIR is undemocratic. The Supreme Court said, if Election Commission does not do SIR, it is their job. They're supposed to do it. But I'll just quickly come to a very important point, Akanksha. I listened to the Congress spokesperson, bear with me. Rahul Gandhi, what has been his basic premise? He says ये बार-बार जो बीजेपी चुनाव जीतती है, इसका मतलब इलेक्शन कमीशन और बीजेपी मिले हुए हैं और मिलकर धांधलेबाजी करते हैं. The word he used was धांधलेबाजी. Now let me tell your audience, in Bengal, West Bengal, from 1947 to 1977, for 30 long years, who was in power? The Congress party. Uttar Pradesh between 1950 and 1989, for 39 long years, who was in power? The Congress party. In Bihar, from 1947 to 1989, for 42 long years, who was in power? The Congress party. Lo behold, in Maharashtra, from 1960 to 2025, in the last 65 years, 54 years, it was either the Congress or its alliance partner, which was in part, and last but not the least, the big daddy of them all, Karnataka. Between 1956 and 2025, in the last 69 years, of those 69 years, Akanksha, 44 years, it was the Congress which was in power. So my point here is, when the Congress was in power in Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, not to forget the fact that they were in power for 5.5 decades in the center. Did Sanju Verma or any BJP leader say, "Arey, election commission और कांग्रेस पार्टी मिले हुए हैं जी, इन दोनों के बीच में आपस में कोई सांठ-गांठ है जी, कोई धांधलेबाजी हो रही है जी"? Basically, Rahul Gandhi is a sore loser, and there's a famous saying in English: a bad workman blames his tools. Rahul Gandhi is like that class student. यदि क्लास में फेल हो गए तो टीचर की गलती है, क्लास मॉनिटर की गलती है, बाकी क्लास के स्टूडेंट्स की गलती है, क्लास के प्रिंसिपल की गलती है, स्टूडेंट्स की तो बात छोड़िए, राहुल गांधी ये भी कह सकते हैं, अरे स्कूल की बिल्डिंग का रंग ब्लू क्यों है? ग्रे होता तो शायद मैं पास हो जाता. But I will finally end with just one thing very quickly. Please bear with me for just 10 seconds. I won't take more than that. Maharashtra has been at the epicenter of the controversy regarding so-called vote chori, and Rahul Gandhi says in the last 1 hour in Maharashtra, the voter turnout went up from 58.22% to 66.05%. Yes, it did. There was an increase of 7.83% in the last 1 hour in terms of voter turnout in Maharashtra. But does Rahul Gandhi tell you, Akanksha, that in the last 1 hour, voter turnout in Karnataka went up by 13.9%? In the last 1 hour, the voter turnout in Telangana went up by 13.7%. In the last 1 hour, the voter turnout in Himachal Pradesh went up by 11.8%. And Himachal, Telangana and Karnataka were won by the Congress party. The BJP lost. So when voter turnout increases and the Congress party wins, sab changasi. When voter turnout increases and the BJP loses, Rahul Gandhi plays the proverbial sore loser.
And not just
कहते हैं ना, ये जनता है, जनार्दन है, ये सब समझती है, सब जानती है. Rahul Gandhi has been debunked by the electorate of this country because they can see through this charlatan. They can see through his charade.
How do you respond to the points that are being raised right now? Not to forget the fact that every time, whether it is state elections or let's take case in point being the VP elections, because it was the NDA candidate who won with a mammoth victory, that too one that's clearly indicating that there was cross voting taking place. Now the next thing that comes is that cross voting इसलिए हुई because सब बिक रहे थे. BJP went ahead and bought MPs worth 15 to 20 crore rupees is what they were being paid. These are serious allegations coming from your alliance. How do you make these allegations without even bringing up any evidence?
Let me first tell you, I'll answer to what BJP spokesperson had to say. She told all the facts that they mean nothing. What we have to say is that all the data was given. This state, that state had this much of the turnout in the last 1 hour. That's exactly what Congress party is asking for. We asked that you give us the CCTV footage. We want to know who were coming in. It doesn't matter whether Congress won or BJP won. But what did the Election Commission do? They changed the law. 45 days later, you won't have anything.
But that's exactly the question. That's exactly the question that Sanju asked. Why don't you? So are you saying no? So answer my question. In that point, is there rigging involved whenever Congress wins? Are you saying that then Election Commission is equally involved in rigging when Congress wins?
Let me first complete what I was saying. What we are saying every time is that the Election Commission of India is changing its rule. It is changing the goalpost. It says that you will not have any of the data or any of the footage from the Election Commission.
Okay, now I need to quickly wrap up. I'm going to give closing thoughts to Sanju, and I also have to wrap up. All right, Sanju, shifting the goalpost now.
Akanksha, let's get one thing very clear. Let's look at the vice presidential election. What happened 2 days back? 767 votes were cast, 762 were valid.
Suraj, she did not speak up. No, she did not speak up when you were talking.
Can you please mute this
yes,
guy?
Please, Sanju, please go ahead.
Yeah. Akanksha, the fact is 767 votes were cast in the vice presidential election, 752 were valid, 15 votes were invalid. Now, the BJP-led NDA needed 377 to win. But we won with a handsome amount the tally was 452 votes. I'm saying from that 452, reduce the 15 invalid votes. It still comes to 437. From the 437, you reduce the 14 people who supposedly cross-voted. Even then, the NDA's tally would have been 423. So my limited point is, aap kuch bhi kar lete. Even then, in the worst case scenario, BJP-led NDA would have still won the vice presidential election with 423 votes vis-a-vis the 377 that were needed. And despite Jairam Ramesh's bravado कि 315 तो जी हम जरूर जीतेंगे, आपको सिर्फ 300 वोट मिले मिस्टर जयराम रमेश, पवन खेरा. The reality on the ground is very different from the hot air that you blow on Twitter, on social media, on Facebook. Elections are not won on Instagram.
I want to
Elections
quickly
are not
give.
won on Facebook.
Okay. Now I want to quickly. I've given
no
each of
point.
you
We
turn.
just
No,
have to be-
I want to quickly give closing thoughts to Amitabh Tewari. Amitabh Tewari,
No,
if
give me one
metadata
line to speak.
is suggesting,
One
this is
line,
a question for
one line.
Amitabh.
It is proven.
If
BJP
metadata is suggesting there's a Myanmar angle over here, should India be concerned or not in terms of national security? We all know who is fomenting disturbances in Myanmar at the moment, especially who's backing the rebels in Myanmar.
And,
Your
you
thoughts,
speak about
Amitabh
Nepal
Tewari.
also. What is happening to the BJP?
No, essentially, it's an accusation which has been made by the BJP and it is up for investigation. BJP is in power and it needs to investigate this. These are serious allegations.
All right.
We should take into account.
And perhaps they will take this forward as well. There are a host of allegations and counter allegations, but I'm glad that we were able to discuss them in the most civil manner. Thank you so much, all of you, Amitabh, Sanju, and of course Suraj Mandal, for joining in. It was a pleasure having you here on The Hard Facts. With that, let's now shift focus over to